Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Basil Rathbone inviting you to join me beyond the green door. Our story today is about the Dillingsworth Diamond Corporation, one of the world's wealthiest businesses, which was founded, strangely enough, beyond the green door. Bill Blake was a braggart, a spendthrift and a brawler, and he treated his wife and half-breed servant shockingly. But Blake did know how to make money. He had made fortunes half a dozen times, emeralds in Colombia, gold in the Transvaal, pearls in Ceylon, and each time he gambled and drank away his wealth, beat his servant, insulted his best friends, and went out to find another fortune. These traits didn't endear Blake to anyone. Why his servants stayed with him, no one knew. Little Da Costa never had a share in any of Blake's enterprises, was poorly paid and sometimes beaten. But the mournful little man stuck to Blake, pitched his tent and hung his mosquito netting, cleaned and loaded his pistols, and generally made himself indispensable. People used to say that such devotion proved there was some good in Blake, but others suspected that the half-breed was not right in his head. Blake went his turbulent way. He just missed an uranium find in Canada and turned up next in French Equatorial Africa. There he announced that he was going to bring in a diamond field bigger than Kimberley. No one took him seriously. French Equatorial Africa is not diamond country, but Bill plunged into the jungle and people began to wonder if he might not be right. Bill's luck carried him to a fabulous lode, confirming his hunch and confounding the experts. It also brought him into the territory of the murderous Guani tribe, a tribe notorious for murdering strangers. This was the kind of situation Bill loved. He offered to fight the best man among them, and the chief himself stepped forward. Bill smiled, pulled out a revolver, and fired. Or tried to fire. The hammer fell, but the cartridge didn't explode. As Bill was frantically spinning the chamber of his gun, a long spear transfixed him and ended his gory career. Now the savages turned to Da Costa. The little half-breed looked at the violent faces around him, then lifted his own revolver and shot 3 men. When he killed a 4th, the savages broke and ran. Da Costa tenderly buried his master's body and took his effects back to civilization, not forgetting to file a claim for the diamond land in the name of Anthony Da Costa. And that is how the Dillingsworth Company was born. Da Costa found it expedient to take an English name, and we know that he formed the world-famous Dillingsworth Diamond Corporation. In his later years, wealthy beyond belief, he sometimes showed souvenirs of his African days. Here was the revolver with which he had quelled the tribesmen, and here was Blake's own gun. The discerning observer usually noted that the firing pin had been filed down, thus rendering the gun inoperable. Some commented on this to Da Costa. An enemy of Mr. Blake must have done that, Da Costa would say sadly. Some man filled with a profound sense of hatred, I would imagine, and an unquenchable patience. But of course Mr. Blake should never have allowed anyone to touch his weapons.